The Detroit Tigers had high expectations coming into 2022. They had finally gotten out of the basement of the MLB, which had been their home since gutting the team in 2017. After a massive overachieving 77-85 campaign in 2021, and they had actually made noticeable offseason additions for the first time since Mike Ilitch owned the team. And the Tigers were also in the weakest division in baseball, the AL Central. What could go wrong? Yeah, a lot went wrong. First, let's backtrack. The year is 2017. The Tigers are below average and looking to trade away their core. So they do so by the means of Justin Verlander, JD Martinez, Justin Upton, Justin Wilson, Alex Avila, and Ian Kinsler. So they had just traded away their core to rebuild. And over the next couple of years, they were openly tanking. But doing this allowed them to gain 4 top 5 draft picks over the span of 2018 to 2021. This helped them build their farm system with the likes of Casey Mize, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Jackson Jobe, along with a late 9th round steal in Tariq Skubal. But still, it had been a while since 2017, and fans were wondering what was taking so dang long. And going into 2021, the Tigers were expected to repeat more of the same. But the fans got a pleasant surprise. They went 77-85, with key contributors being the most unlikely cast of characters: Jonathan Scope, Jamie Candelario, Robbie Grossman, Jake Rogers, Eric Haas, Spencer Turnbull, Willie Peralta, Kyle Funkhauser, All-Star Gregory Soto, and Akil Baddoo, a Rule 5 draft pick who hadn't even played above A-ball, was very solid. And I have a video if you want to check that out. And that's not to mention Casey Mize was looking strong, and Skubal and Manning showing promise. Heck, Spencer Turnbull even threw a no-hitter. 77-85 might not look that great on the surface, but man, that was a glorious 77-85 for all Detroit Tigers fans, me included. So they were on the cusp of something, they just needed more. So the day after the World Series, they traded for Gold Glove catcher Tucker Barnhart, after Jake Rogers had to have Tommy John. And they signed Eduardo Rodriguez, who had a bad ERA but his FIP and WHIP were outstanding, and played in the toughest division and behind one of the worst defenses in baseball. And then they were looking to get Carlos Correa, but he declined, so the Tigers signed Javier Baez to a 6-year, $140 million deal. He had hit .263 with 31 home runs with the Mets and the Cubs, and filled a massive hole at shortstop. But he also struck out a lot. But that isn't a problem, right? The Tigers would later pick up Andrew Chafin, traded for Austin Meadows, and signed Michael Pineda, while calling up number 2 prospect Spencer Torkelson and number 5 prospect Riley Green. The Tigers had a spark and they added to it. The Tigers were a top sleeper team, but now the Tigers are 24-35, sitting 4th in the AL Central and can't get anything going for them. But why? Why are the Tigers this bad? First, we have to talk about the injuries. Not even midway through spring training, and Riley Green goes down. Pineda can't get into the country. Funkhauser goes down. Cisneros hurt. Chafin is hurt. And in the offseason, Rogers and Turnbull had Tommy John. Then the regular season started, and the Tigers were below average. But then, boom, Mize went down after a stellar rookie year and a solid start to 2022, and still isn't healthy, and has to have Tommy John and will most likely be out for all of 2023. Manning was doing amazing. Then he had an upper bicep injury. Erod later got hurt. Baez had a stint on the IL. Meadows was out for nearly a month. Grossman has been on the IL twice. Akil Baddoo was sent down to AAA for performance issues, but then he got hurt. Victor Reyes, a key depth piece, got hurt. Peralta is our bullpen guy, and the backup pitchers are hurt. Wentz, Alexander, and then Pineda got hurt again. So the O wasn't as bad as the pitching, and to be fair, the main question was the pitching, so it wasn't like it was supposed to be the key, and even the healthy offensive guys are still struggling. But early on in the year, pitching was the key, and Faedo and Skubal are the only good healthy Tigers left. And 4 of the outfielders have gotten hurt, and most of these guys I mentioned are still on the IL. And whenever a healthy starter was in a game, the Tigers were competitive, and the offense came to life more. But the injuries were down. But then but the injuries were down, and versus good teams, you need help. And depth is an issue for the Tigers. The next factor is that key contributors did not sustain their performances. Akil Baddoo was hitting just above 100 before he got hurt. Eric Haas is a liability at the plate. Scope was not hitting anything, granted, and he is now mashing. Candelario as of now is hitting 181 and has a 533 OPS. And Peralta isn't a viable starter anymore. Same with Alexander. And so much of the magic has come from these unlikely cast of players. And also the final reason is that Alaviola's moves has blown up in his face. Tucker Barnhart is solid behind the plate, but not elite, like advertised, and doesn't have a bat. Erod was struggling mightily even before he got hurt. Chaffin missed some time. Torkelson is not effective, though like Scope, he's raking as of recently. But Austin Meadows and Michael Pineda have actually been quite solid. They had been hurt, though Meadows has returned just now. But what about the Golden Goose Prize of the offseason, Javier Baez? He has been the most saddest thing to see. His stats, 205, 240, 316, 3 home runs, a whopping 9 walks, and has 46 strikeouts, which is third in baseball. What a sad sight. And the Tigers almost got Correa too. Is the season so salvageable? Well, yes, but things have to go right. At least 2 pitchers have to return in the next month or less for the team to stay intact. Riley Green is going to have to return, which he is soon. Same with Funkhauser or Cisnero, which Cisnero is making a quicker recovery than expected. Grossman will have to stay healthy. Same with Meadows, but it is doable. This year has been bad, but not terrible. The Tigers are in most of the games, and they had a tough schedule. They have had series versus the Yankees twice, the Dodgers, the Astros, the Rays, the Twins, and the Jays. But here on out, it gets much easier with soft AL Central opponents, which the Tigers are doing fairly well against division opponents this year. And Skubal and Torkelson are heating up. Harold Castro has been a pleasant surprise. Grossman and Meadows are also good. Miggy is doing great. They also have a young Cy Young contender in Tariq Skubal. This season isn't lost, but it will be an uphill climb. Thanks for watching. Sub for more baseball and sports content like this.